Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well today. I got an email from Ryan, one of my subscribers, and he was talking about this bass line, Lost My Treble Long Ago, and in particular the ghost notes, the descending ghost notes. And I hadn't heard this tune before and listened to it. It's amazing. So I'm going to do this lesson on Joe Dart's techniques on this tune, and he just has the whole gamut, the whole range of amazing bass techniques. Now he's very in control of note length. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, to me, technique is all about having control over note length, attack, articulation. Control is the buzzword here. So whatever technique you're working on, that's what you're aiming for. His timing and touch are also incredible. Now, everything is based around D minor. We have D minor pentatonic there, and we have a bunch of other cool notes that I'll show you as we go along. So I'll show you the notes, and I'll show you what he does, and some ways that you can approach practicing this. So we start off with, I think he does a little slide actually to start with, but there are alterations throughout. So we're going C to D, 8 to 10 on the E string. There, we've got a little hand shift going on. Now listen to that octave there, the D. It's short. Now, I'm shortening that note by just immediately coming off the fretted note. I'm playing it with my fourth finger, my pinky finger, and I'm just coming off it immediately afterwards. And it's essential that it's that short. Listen to the original, you'll hear what I mean. Already, there's a ghost note here. Before you play the C on the 10th fret of the D string. Control. So you've just got to slow everything down. Let's continue. Okay, that's a really cool move. This is kind of funk soul. He's very influenced, and Vulfpeck, they're very influenced by that sort of old school soul music, and they've really made it their own. And I've done plenty of videos on this, but this is something that you hear a lot. So this is the key, D, okay, and the D here. It's your root note. That's a flat third, the F on the 10th fret of the G. And that move there of going from the flat third, 1 fret higher, that's to the major third, you hear that all the time in soul music. That's just playing it down the octave. This is a pattern that I recommend you memorize, and you'll hear it a lot. So that's what we have here. So, slowly. That little flat third to major third thing repeats. There's lots of little rhythmic touches going on here. He goes down to a D on the 5th fret of the A string to slide up. And this is the bit that Ryan was talking about. I'm doing all the other bits as well, but these are 16th note triplets. Lost My Treble Long Ago is 87 beats per minute, I think. I think that's what it is, okay? So quite a slow tempo. These are the beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. 16th note triplets, that's something Joe Dart uses a lot. And you have 6 of them in one beat. They look terrifying, but they're responsible for a lot of impressive, fast-sounding bass playing. Victor Wooten uses them a lot. Lots of shredders, guitarists use them a lot. So, digga-da, digga-da, okay? This beat, diddle-a, 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 diddle-a. And as with any rhythm that you want to learn on the bass, whether it's something complicated like this or 8th notes, you must internalize that. So that's the first thing to do before even playing this. This is, tap your foot. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's how you play those ghost notes. So the first thing you do is you start on the D on the 5th fret of the A string. And then we're sliding up, and I'm playing it little finger. This is the D on the 12th fret of the D string, octave higher than this one. You could do 3rd finger as well. Just playing that first and then going. I'm going index, middle, middle. When you're descending and you want to play fast notes, raking is often the answer. So raking is this. So when you go from a higher pitched string to a lower pitched string, so G, D, A, E, and you use one finger to do that, it just stops you having to alternate all the time. I'm going index, middle, middle. That's the little rake there. And then index, middle, middle again. Now, I don't know if this is how Joe Dart's doing it, but try this. If you find another way to do it, do it. We've got 16th note triplets. And in terms of ghost notes, you can kind of play it anywhere. I'm sort of underlying this. I'm hearing those notes just to run down the minor pentatonic scale, but it isn't. It's ghost notes. So the first note is played. This is how I'm doing it. So I'm going D, and then I'm going like 10th fret D string, 12th fret A string with ghost notes. I'm not playing the notes. I'm deadening. And then I'm kind of going 10th fret, 8th fret A string, the G to the F, and then 10th fret, which is the D on the E string. Sticking to that, index, middle, middle, index, middle, middle. That's your 6 notes. Diddler, diddler. And something like that, you need to just get the line down first and then slow it right down. So I might go something like this. I did a video on this last week, actually, about isolating a tricky section, not doing the bit before that you know or the bit after that you know, just this bit. And slowing it down, exploring what you need to do. I think it's ghost notes all the way, actually, apart from that first one. And at the end, we've got the beginning of the line again. It's such a cool line, actually. And it works because you've got this tempo and you've got 16th note triplets, which always sound impressive. You need to make sure, however, that you've got them bang in time. So slow down, way below 87 BPM, perhaps don't even use a metronome. Then start to bring in your metronome at slower tempos, making sure you've got that rhythm down. I'm going index, middle, middle, there, and there. The line begins again with a really cool articulation at the end. Now, Joe Dart, he's brilliant with fingerstyle. Try picking everything. I'm not doing ghost notes there. I'm just coming down a D minor pentatonic scale. And then back up again. Try 16th note triplets with that strict alternate plucking. Then we've got the same line again. Then we've got this really cool line. So this is your blues scale. Basically, if you get a D minor pentatonic scale, and at the top there, that's a G. You play 1 fret higher, that's a flat 5. You can bend up to it as well. That flat 5, along with that major third thing, brilliant for solos. Marcus Miller uses this all the time. Learn the key, learn the basic notes, and then these really choice, colourful notes. That's your flat 5. And then, Joe Dart it up. As practice for your solos and your fills as well. Going back to the actual line though. That's really cool. It's a pull-off. So this is how we're doing it. I'm going 13th fret, 12th fret, 10th fret, and I've got all the fingers lined up, 1 finger per fret. So little finger on the 13th, third finger on the 12th fret, the G, and on the F on the 10th fret, the first finger. Have that first finger pressed down at all times. Pluck once, do a pull-off from the little finger to the third finger, and it's really a flick down towards the floor. And the flick or the pull-off needs to be as loud as the pluck, so work on that. If you're kind of new to this or finding this tricky, That's probably the trickiest move, little finger to third finger. And maybe you don't use that little finger at all, and you do this. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend introducing this little finger and just working on it as much as you need to make it as strong as the others. So we've got that first pull off, and then the second pull off, which is from the third finger to that first finger that all the time has been planted down. Okay, so you pluck once, and then you've got a G to an A, 12th fret to 14th fret. And a very classic technique here, it's a shake. Mark Adams from Slave used to do this all the time. I've got a funk course, by the way, that teaches all these techniques and 40 funk bass grooves. I'll put a link to that below. But what I'm doing here, I mean, there's several ways. Usually your thumb is in contact with the back of the neck, but here, pressing down, this is on the 10th fret of the G string, the F. And it's called a shake for a reason. Whilst always pressing into the fretboard, don't come up, otherwise the note will stop. I'm just going up a fret to the 11th fret and then back again, and just back and forth. I'll do it slowly. So after the shake, it lasts for that amount of time. There's even a ghost note there to get back again to the beginning. So, and again, I'm raking here. Doing a ghost. Notice how I'm just flattening out my hand over here. Again, watch Joe Dart. I don't know if there's anything online on YouTube with him playing this, but there are several ways to accomplish the same thing. You could just play very precisely on one string, with, deaden with 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Just make sure it's completely dead. So then we're back to that beginning line again. Now it's just basically variations of that. Then he goes the same thing, just up a tone to E now. It's really cool. And then it goes back again. That really is essentially the whole thing. Listen to it, and as ever, being quite influenced by jazz as well, Joe Dart will mix things up a little bit. It won't always be the same. But regardless of that, his finger style is brilliant. Touch, his timing, and the techniques going on here, the pull-offs, little slides. I think he's plucking, but do experiment with hammer-ons. So that's the opposite of a pull-off. We've got the F on the 10th fret of the G, that minor to major third thing. Try hammering on with your second finger. The aim of this is to make the hammered note as loud as your plucked note. Now, if you're watching this video and saying, oh, well, that's really cool, I don't quite have this down yet, well, make up your own exercises. So this is in the key of D, D minor, kind of an underlying Dorian mode thing going on, although he's not really playing any of those notes. We've got that flat 5 thing, and we've got the major third, minor third thing, or minor third, major third thing. Just make up your own exercises. Let's say hammer-ons are your thing, that you really want to get those down. I'm just doing hammer-ons over the notes of the scale. Adding in a ghost note there. Sounds a bit Red Hot Chili Peppers as well, getting into that territory. If you want to practice ghost notes with your 16th note rhythm, there I'm just literally going from the 12th fret down the minor pentatonic shape here. You can kind of hear some notes going on underneath that. I quite like that. You could pluck everything there, or you could use pluck and rake. There are, as I said before, many ways to accomplish the same thing. Once you practice in this way, musically, not to plug all my products, but I do have a book that is musical sounding, exercises. Once you get into this habit of doing that and sharpening up your technique, you get to a point where you can insert it in your playing without thinking about it. And that's the key to all of this, is to have this under your fingers, have the muscle memory completely locked in. Obviously that takes practice. It takes consistent practice. And you can learn songs like this one to enhance your technique, but also make up your own exercises. So thanks, Ryan, for sending me that email. And people request songs a lot, and some of them are a bit too niche for me to do, and others are on a big list that I'm going to get around to. So thanks very much for that. If you do have any questions about, you know, anything like this, I'll do other Joe Dart lessons, I'm sure, because just all of his bass lines are so amazing. But if you've got any other suggestions for players or really cool bass lines that you think other people will like, let me know and I'll do a video on it. Other than that, please do subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.